Time to pull up a chair and talk some Dynasty Football. I am your host, JJ Wenner, and this is the Dynasty Podcast. With me are my co-hosts, Jameson Hutchinson, Joe Harlow. Gentlemen, it is good to see you after a week off. I am back after my daughter's wedding. Rumor has it, I had copious amounts of bourbon and just may have attempted to hit the gritty on the dance floor.
Oh, it's terrible.
Did you try or did you do?
I tried, and I did not do. I think I pulled a hammy, but whatever. Tonight, we are going to have a chat about year two players and determine if we need to snap back to reality or continue living in the fantasy. Who are they? Find out after this. Woo! I was grooving right there. All right, folks. Before we start, don't forget to listen to all of our podcasts, watch all of our shows here at Fantasy in Frames. Head over to fantasyinframes.com for all of the latest articles and rankings covering a wide range of topics in the world of fantasy football. All right, gentlemen. Before the show, you put together a list of sophomore slumpers. These guys just didn't miss the breakout bus. They never even made it to the station. Not a single one cracked the top 24 at their position last year. Brutal. Tonight, we're going full fantasy speed dating. I'm dropping names, and you're telling me if you're in or out and why. Quick takes only. No fence sitting. I'm looking at you, Jameson. No filibusters. Now, let's roast some sophomores. Starting with the QBs, we are not talking about Caleb, Jaden, Drake, and Bo. They showed us what they can do. Hey, Aiden, how are you doing, buddy? But let's start with Jameson. Where are we on Penix for this year?
I think I'm out. It's just a statue quarterback. Not much has changed with the offense. A very limited sample size. It was nothing crazy, so I'm just going to say I'm out for here. And kind of excited to hear what Joe has to say, because I don't think a lot of people talk about Penix.
All right, Mr. Harlow.
I wish I could give a different opinion, but I really can't. I'm out. I wasn't high on Penix coming in. A lot of people are acting like he's already shown some amazing things, despite completing 58% of 100-plus passes, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. Obviously, just box score stats. That's not much to go on, but I thought he was incredibly on film. Some big throws, as he always can, but he still can't throw over the middle of the field. And for someone who's already played thousands of snaps of college and now a few snaps in the pros, it's one of those things that's hard to get better. You don't just pick up the middle of the field ability. Ask Russell Wilson. He never picked it up. And Penix doesn't have the mobility that Russ had to survive like that. So,
yeah, part of my concern is the lack of rushing upside. You kind of need it. We were talking last night, shameless plug, on the Diehards podcast. The top 20 QBs are all pretty viable. So, I just find a lot of different options who I'd rather take over Penix. But let's move on to J. McCarthy. Great name. Joe, what do you think about him?
Talking out of both sides of my mouth a little bit, but I'm in on McCarthy. A lot of that is the infrastructure. I think Penix is a good athlete, but doesn't use it. McCarthy is a better athlete and used it more at Michigan. Kevin O'Connell offense, I have a lot of faith in everything there. Got another JJ and Justin Jefferson, he doesn't suck. So I think he'll really help McCarthy go and improve. TJ Hawkinson back from injury is a top 3 tight end when healthy. Jordan Addison's good. Ty Felton makes a lot of sense. I think the run game's good. Defense is chaotic at worst. So I think he's in the infrastructure there, even if he has some struggles. I mean, we saw Sam Darnold put up, what did Sam Darnold finish at? QB 8 last year? And I don't think McCarthy does that this year. Just it's his first year, but it's obviously not out of the question.
JMO?
I'm all in. I think this is an easy dynasty buy as ever. I mean, it is flashing. in the pan, all chips in. You got the best wide receiver in football. You got probably the best play caller in football. You got Jordan Addison, who quietly put up a really good year last year. TJ Hawkinson, one of the better tight ends in football. An upgraded offensive line, and a guy who should be better than Sam Darnold, who finished quarterback 8 last year. I know this is Dynasty Podcast and Redraft. He's like going like past QB 20. But other than that, like in Dynasty right now, there's a little bit of a dip just because he got injured. I would scoop it up. If you need to flip Penix and some picks for McCarthy, just do what you can. It's not going to get any cheaper after this offseason. So I'm all in on McCarthy.
I will say for me, it's already been impossible to get him in any leagues. Though I got Jordan Love and something else for him in one of my main quarterback heavy leagues, which was pretty sweet. So
I'd give up some future capital for him. I just saw him got moved in one of my dynasty leagues, so it ended up being for like a lower end, like wide receiver 1. I think it was like Waddle, and they had like a pick swap, and it was a guy who needed a quarterback. I think I'm very open to something like that. I just very in on McCarthy, and I'm not sure if I think everybody's on it. Not sure how excited they were before the season, before he got hurt, but I'm in. That's very easy for me.
I was listening to our buddy Drake and the guru John Hansen. John Hansen is all in on JJ McCarthy, very high on him for this year. So yeah, I'm interested to see what he can do. What does Aiden say? Aiden says he's in on Penix. Connection between him and London is going to be so good, especially with his arm and confidence to launch it downfield. Maybe Pitts can catch one downfield. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
My only concern here is just the over the middle throwing with Penix. That's where Drake London excels, and Penix he can't and won't. Now, if he can unlock London downfield, I don't think London's bad there. That's just my concern. That what are we really going to get there?
I think Drake London can get there. I think him and Drake London can get there at the end of the season. I know Drake London left on he had like a leg injury at one of the games, but it seemed like the connection was there. Anything's better than what Kirk Cousins was, and I like Drake London as a talent
except
too.
Against Tampa.
Yeah. So I know it's a little goofy. The end of I think they played the Giants, or Atlanta played the Giants, the Commanders, and then I believe it was Carolina the last 3 games of the year. So defense is kind of iffy, but it's interesting. Like I think Penix could be fine. I think Drake London could be good again this year, but as far as just Penix overall, not something I'm totally, I guess, excited for.
All right. Well, next up are the running backs. We're not talking about Bucky, but the rest were kind of a mess. Man, it was a weird season. J-Mo, where are you on Jonathan Brooks?
I think you can use like a late round pick if somebody wants to move him, but other than that, I just 2 ACL injuries. Just paid Chuba Hubbard, brought in Rico Dowdle. You're probably waiting 2 years if you want to get some production out of it. So, yeah.
Joe?
That's all I'll say.
What a shame. What a shame.
Sucks.
I'm out. Sucks. I'm out. Unfortunately, it sucks.
Yeah. I'll buy him if someone's selling him for a 4th, but just to put him on my IR, but that's really it. Yeah. I'd be shocked if he comes back and does anything more than what Deonta Foreman at this point is probably the ceiling, just since he had the major injuries too.
Yeah, it's a shame. All right, Trey Benson, Arizona. Joe?
This is one of, how many guys did we say? Like 6, 7 guys in this list who they have a lot of talent, but they need an injury in front of them. So for the 4 or 5 games James Conner misses, I'm in on Trey Benson. But the other 11 to 13, he's just the backup. Definitely a buy for me dynasty-wise. I'd be willing to give a 2 for him, like a mid-2 in a super flex. Just the talent is real. He showed off some of his talent and the rawness last year, but again, he's a backup there's no way he's taking over James Conner's role. Your favorite.
Hey, James Conner. J-Mo.
Not a guy in this group that I'm totally going after. He had 291 yards and 1 touchdown. Beginning of the season didn't look very good, and towards the end of the year when he was getting better, I mean, they just rode James Conner into the ground. And this we'll get to Marvin Harrison Jr. here in a little bit. This is not an offense that I love. I just would rather take some chances on some other year 2 running backs that kind of have the similar thing. He's fine, but I'm just going to take some swings elsewhere.
I would definitely throw a pick, maybe an early third, late second, see if you can get Benson away. As an investment in the future proofing. Connor's not going to last forever. Please, God. So hopefully, Benson will be the main guy there shortly. Jamil, why don't you talk about Blake Corum?
Very interesting now that they brought in Jaquez Hunter, another rookie running back who is totally different from Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. Kind of iffy on it. I think he is just a 1B to Blake Corum, and then I think Hunter is a totally different viable running back. I think I'd rather have Hunter than Blake Corum, and then I think Blake Corum, I just don't think there's going to be a role for him unless Kyron Williams gets hurt or if he has a fumbling issue right out the gate. So that's another guy I'm just kind of like Trey Benson. There's some other guys in this list that I'd rather take some shots on.
Joe?
Out. I love Jarquez Hunter coming out. I think Hunter could overtake Kyron Williams at some point. Could get Wally Pippen if and when Kyron gets hurt. So I didn't love Corum. Saw nothing to make me think otherwise. So out.
Yeah, to me, he's like when you're in high school and you apply to the safety school, just in case everything else fails. He's the one guy you have left. I'm out on him. All right, next up, Marshawn Lloyd from Green Bay, Jameson.
It's the guy who dealt with 4 different injuries last year, had a hip, a hamstring, an ankle, and then his appendix blew on him. So,
woo! It's like the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, he got a little bit of everything last year. Emmanuel Wilson got some run in this backfield last year. I'm actually in on Marshawn Lloyd. I was in on him before the year. I think that Josh Jacobs, I talked about last week, I feel like he is a running back who's been in the league like 15 years, but it's only like year 6 for him. Just it seems like forever. And I think Marshawn Lloyd would actually be a really good benefit to Josh Jacobs, what he does, kind of like a thunder and lightning kind of combo here. And then just when Aaron Jones was in Green Bay, they always split time. And then once Marshawn Lloyd got hurt, it just seemed like it was the Josh Jacobs show from that point forward. So I'm going to be in on Marshawn Lloyd. It seems like there's a bit of a dip, especially with all the injuries. I know he started OTAs in the rehab group, obviously rehabbing from his body falling apart, but hopefully get some super glue on him, put everything back together. I think he's electric, and I think this is one of these year 2 running backs that I'm buying here.
You know, I'm kind of with you. It's all about his health for me. I need to hear some good reports. I need to see him practicing, but I do have a few shares of him. I'm not moving him.
Yep.
It's one of those things where, I don't know, like Pat Benatar, we belong together. Like, I can't let him go at this point. Joe, where are you on Marshawn Lloyd?
Might be on mute.
It's okay. I will translate. He said, I'm kind of out on him.
Kind of in. Similar to Benson, but a little less in.
Okay. Just the tip?
That's a little generous.
Too soon. All right. Let's move on then to one of my favorite running backs last year, Jalen Wright. Joe, where are you on Jalen Wright?
Still in. I'd say a little more than Lloyd. Devon Achane, I don't think will hold up. So I think Wright could have a decent role in a deeper league if you're in a deeper league. Aldi Gordon doesn't scare me at all. So in
on Jalen Wright. J-Mo.
I'm just kind of on him. I'd rather have Marshawn Lloyd. I'm worried about Ollie Gordon 2 years ago whooped ass. I mean, I don't know what happened last year. It's very frustrating because if it was 2 years ago, I think it'd be some real competition. The other thing I'm worried about is I'm worried about this Miami offense. I think the offensive line is goofy. I think head coach Mike McDaniel hasn't really been that impressive. It seems like these offenses have kind of fallen apart. They ran the offense through Jonnu Smith last year outside of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Achane's still there. Jalen Wright's fine, but I kind of worry about the offensive environment. I wouldn't be surprised. Just going off topic, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McDaniel was one of the first head coaches fired this season. So I worry about Miami, and I don't care for the situation. I like Jalen Wright as a player, though.
I like Jalen Wright as a player too. I really need him to see him start catching a pass or two.
Yeah, only 249 yards
any interest. But
I will say, if Mike McDaniel goes, I don't think whoever they bring in would use Devon Achane in a similar way, and Wright would be more of a 1B than a 2, if not a 1A.
And especially with Mostert being gone right now, there is a bigger role for him to step into. So I'm not out. I still like Jalen Wright. J-Mo, what about Will Shipley? Oh,
it's a
just one
for something later.
It's okay.
Only 82 yards last year. Is the complete backup to Saquon Barkley, who carried the ball over 400 yards last year. I don't think it really matters how good Will Shipley is.
Yards.
Yeah, I was being a little light there, but I'll be in on him. I think this is just very easy. We've seen last couple of years these workhorse running backs kind of get hurt. Christian McCaffrey's one of them. The next year just kind of starts to linger. And good offense. Worry a little bit about the touchdowns with the tush push staying around, but that's an easy in for me, even if we haven't really seen much. Only 82 yards last year as far as the regular season goes.
And that's enough for you to say yes. I like that. I like the hope in your heart.
It don't take much.
It don't take much. Joseph?
I'm also in. He's the clear number 2 now that Kenny Gainwell is out the door. And I don't remember who had the stat, but every single running back who's had as many touches as Saquon did last year missed at least, I think it was 6 games the next year. So, and Saquon's already someone who's dealt with some injuries, so I would not be shocked if we get a few Will Shipley weeks.
He's also,
and as a good pass catcher, there's a high floor.
Yeah. He's also on the Madden cover, Saquon Barkley is this year. I think that really that is analysis that we need to also take into consideration. That has never worked out for anybody.
Analysis. That's diving into the analytics.
That is. So just something to throw out there.
All right. Will Shipley, we're in. Next up.
Gross.
Ray Davis. Not Isaac Orendo yet. It's okay.
Goodness gracious.
It's okay. Jameson, where are you on Ray Davis?
He's a little older, but I like him. I think this is a very easy, good offense. James Cook is fighting for his life as far as contracts go. We saw what he did last year. Had over 400 yards, and that was with James Cook running wild and Ty Johnson being in a mix of true 3-headed back, and Josh Allen vulturing touchdowns. So I'm in on Ray Davis. It only takes James Cook getting mad or getting hurt, and he ends up in an awesome workload. So I'm in.
Joe?
I'm going to cede my time to you because I will agree with what you say.
Well, I have just a one-liner. More like Bay Davis.
Hey-o.
Yeah, you know how I feel about him. I avoid talking about Ray Davis because I find myself every year I fall in love with one or two rookies, and fall in love is like in quotations, develop a burning obsession with, like PFA level, like stay away from me, winner. Like I get it. Ray Davis was one of those guys for me last year. The more I looked into him, the more I watched his film, the more I did anything, I head over heels. There was no holding back. I probably want to write a song about him, but I'm going to pause there. I am in on him this year. James Cook possibly holding out. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do up there. They're pretty good with the cap. They know how to spend. And I don't know if they're going to give Cook what he wants to get him to come back.
Even if they do, that honestly might make me feel better about Davis. Because Cook is one of those guys like Travion Henderson, Jahmyr Gibbs, where they shouldn't get 30 touches a game, and having a really good number 2, that David Montgomery, Mondre Stevenson, that mold, obviously range of players there, but having that steady bruising back, I think he could be even if with James Cook in a full-time lead role, I think he could be a RB 20 to 30 range.
I mean, he was RB 40 in his rookie year.
Yeah.
And he only got better as the year went on. So
yep.
I'm with you on that.
It's not like they did anything crazy in a wide receiver room. It's also just solid.
Yeah. All right. Now it is time, Mr. Harlow, for Isaac Guerrero.
It's not even a player I like. So
I think it's fate.
I misspelled his name. Yeah. 1R. But now I'm out. Jordan James is significantly better.
Okay. That was easy. J-Mo.
I disagree. I'm in. 420 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. Should have had 2 more if he hadn't have fallen down right before the goal line. This is a guy who is really explosive. We saw what Christian McCaffrey. I know Jordan James is there. He's a smaller back, but Isaac Guerendo's got the home run ability. We saw that kind of last year a couple times. And I just, anytime you have a Kyle Shanahan running back, sometimes he drafts him and he doesn't even use him, but he used Isaac Guerendo last year. We'll see about Jordan James, even though I do like him as a prospect, but I'm in on Guerendo. No Jordan Mason. He's gone. I think they're 2 totally different styles. I think Jordan Mason was kind of a bruiser. Guerendo's got a little more flash, but I mean, I like what I saw from last year, and I've always loved Kyle Shanahan running back, so I'm in.
I think I'm intrigued. I generally don't anymore fall for the fastest running back in the draft. I'm trying to break that habit, that Al Davis in the back of my head. But I did like some of the things he did last year. So I'm interested to see what he can do. I think the 49ers are going to be better than a lot of people think, unless a lot of people are thinking they're going to be good, and then I might be a little bit below. But I think they're going to be better than most people think they're going to be this year. So I want to see what Isaac Guerendo can do. So I am still dipping a toe into that. Which brings us to, because this is a Jets podcast, Braylon Allen. Ooh. J-Mo, where are you?
I'm in. I'm not in love with it, but I think he's fine. I think he showed some flashes. I really don't know what to do with Breece Hall. I'm going to be honest. I know this is not Braylon Allen we're talking about, but I don't know if Breece Hall is going to end up having a huge year. I don't know if he's going to get split 50-50 down the middle. I thought Braylon Allen did some decent stuff for the Jets offense last year that was putrid. No offense, JJ, but it was brutal.
I was not the coordinator. I don't take it personally.
Yeah. So, but I mean, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought he had a couple more, but according to the stats, it was only 2. Maybe he was robbed of them, but he looked good in spurts. I don't love it. I'm worried about the Jets offense in general, but he's fine.
Joe?
I think you have to be in just with Breece Hall seems to be on the trading block. And Allen was good. Allen was the second highest rated rookie rusher for PFF. Isaiah Davis was number 3. So I think both of them, we're not going to really mention Davis here, but I think both are buys. Allen is the 2, and if Breece gets traded, hurt, they just decide to kick him to the curb, which seems not unrealistic. I assume Allen's going to take the role, and again, he's, 3 years old still young as hell, and all the talent in the world.
Yeah, entering his sophomore year, he's just 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in on Braylon Allen. You are right, Jameson. The Jets' offense was putrid last year. They weren't giving the ball to the running backs nearly enough.
Weird.
Because Aaron Rodgers wanted to do what Aaron Rodgers wanted to do, which wasn't win. It was just to pad stats and look good. So,
do you have a read on what they do with Breece Hall?
I think they keep Breece Hall. I think they actually have quite a good offense this year. I like what they've done with the offensive line. It is upgraded. Yeah. I think they're ready to rock. I think they have 3 solid running backs and Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields can support at least 1 wide receiver. So Garrett Wilson, I think, is going to have another good year.
So many targets.
So for me, it's wheels up. I'm excited to see what the Jets do this year. But I always say that every year right before I run into the brick wall and cry myself to sleep. All right. Enough of that sadness. Let's talk about Audric Estime. Joe, where are you on Audric Estime?
Actually, we hit on this a little bit last week. Yes, RJ Harvey's there and is going to be the main guy. But Sean Payton has never had a bell cow with Reggie Bush, Deuce McAllister, all the other guys whose names just escaped my mind. He's always used a two-headed monster. Kamara's never rushed for 1,000 yards, and mostly for lack of carries. So I don't think Estime is going to be like a running back 2. He might not be a running back 3, but right now you can get him on waiver wires and very deep dynasty leagues. He's definitely rosterable and I think he's going to see a lot more carries than people think. I think the RJ Harvey hype is understandably through the roof right now, but I think they want to run the ball. I don't think Sean Payton trusts Bo Nix fully, so I think they're going to be a run first team still.
All right, Joe is in. Jameson.
I think I'm out. Just 310 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. I thought seemed like he played a lot for that lack of production. They had a good offensive line. The offense, I mean, for the most part, was pretty good. It was a playoff team last year. RJ Harvey, I like RJ Harvey. His draft stock has skyrocketed to the point of no return. That's not me like totally saying RJ Harvey's the greatest of all time, but I just wasn't really impressed with Estime. I just don't think he has much of a, I guess, ceiling. Some of these guys, I think he's got some production, and I just would rather see if I can package him and send him back and just take a shot elsewhere.
There's also if RJ Harvey can't hold on to the ball, which he couldn't at UCF.
Yep. It just
so RJ Harvey is the best of all time. Jameson?
No.
Hashtag
RJ, first name RJ, middle name Goat, last name Harvey.
Wow. Okay.
If you read some of the Twitter football, it's to the moon, all the emojis and memes, and they got the dog on the rocket ship, and it's just same old. But it's just I also think Bo Nix being a runner kind of ends up being in this backfield kind of hurts some things. Kind of like not that Josh Allen hurts the running backs because they score so much, but I mean Denver's offense is not Buffalo's, so touchdowns kind of go elsewhere. So I just think Joe's a little more excited about Estime than I am. Would rather he's had a little bit of production. I'd just rather send him somewhere else.
And for me, Nix also has the most checkdowns of anyone, and Will.
Estime is one of those pain players from last year. It seemed like every week was the Estime week. This is the week he's going to get. This is the week. No. This is the week. And every week it was like, oh, like, no. So, like, it's those types of players to me that it's like picking a scab over and over again. Eventually, I'm just like, nah, dog, I'm not going to do it again. So, I hear what Joe said. I hear what Joe's saying, but not for me. I can't do Estime anymore. He's like a Blake Corum to me. Which brings us to our final running back of this batch, Tyrone Tracy. Jameson?
The production was there, but I'm going to try to get out from underneath of him right now. 839 yards, 5 touchdowns last year. Bringing Cam Scatabo, who I'm actually kind of excited about. The draft profile, as far as his, speed and all that stuff, won't tell you the story that he's good, but I mean his production at Arizona State was just through the roof. He's catch passes out of the backfield. Some of Tyrone Tracy's metrics last year were like yards per rush, stuff like that, was not very good. I know the Giants suck. I know the offense is not great. I don't know if it's going to be any better, but he has some production. People were excited about him last year, and I think you can be able to flip him. And I would rather have Scatabo over Tracy. I know some people might be different, but if I have him, I'm just trying to get out from under him and see if I can upgrade from that.
Well, of all the players we're talking about, he ranked the highest. He was RB 26. almost an RB2. But Joe, are you in on him entering in year 2?
I am. I think similar to the Scatabo hype is through the roof. I've seen him go top 12, like as a first rounder in some of my rookie drafts or borderline Scatabo, that is. I think that's a little much. Tracy, he definitely tailed off towards the end of last year. It was also his second year as a running back, and with a dog crap offensive line at best. Quarterback situation was Tommy DeVito was our best quarterback last year, which Russell Wilson is better than Tommy DeVito. I feel pretty confident there. He's a former wide receiver, so the pass catching work will be there if Russ checks it down ever, which we'll see. But yeah, I'm still in on him. I think he's getting sold super cheap right now, so I will buy him at a very cheap price. And I do like him more than Scatabo still.
I like him more than Scatabo as well. The thing that worries me the most about Tracy is with all of his receiving chops, his receiving metrics weren't that impressive to me. I expected a little bit more of him in that part of the game. So I think
a lot of it's also if you just getting a wounded duck as a check down, there's only so much you can do.
But my issue with the Giants is I don't know when that's going to get better.
Fair.
They haven't had a good offensive line in how many years? Are they ever going to have a good offensive line? As a New York football fan, I understand how long you can languish in the doldrums. So let's...
Jameson, are you going to say something else there?
I was just going to say he had, I believe, 5 fumbles last year too. So I think turnovers is a thing that will get you kicked off the field immediately. With Cam Scatabo, he's got the full workhorse, profile, even though it's a little goofy compared to some of the other guys as far as the aesthetics. So hopefully I said that right. I feel like I screwed that up.
You did, but I think I have some worries about Cam Scatabo fumbling in the NFL. I love the fact that he never gives up, never goes down, but that also leaves you open to a lot more aggressive peanut punches.
Yep, I was about to say that.
So
it
I
makes a lot
don't
of
think
sense.
Tracy's a running back 2 or anything. I think just where he's being bought at right now, I think value-wise, I'm definitely on Tracy over Scatabo.
What a weird group of running backs.
So weird. If they were like a good rest of the team, like put these two on Detroit instead of Gibbs and Montgomery, I think they both could be good. But they're both
and it always comes back to this, gentlemen. Most of the NFL, most of their legacy, these players' legacy, is luck. It's luck. Where do you end up going? Yep. What team do you get drafted by? I think there is such a paper-thin margin between the best NFL player and a bust. I don't know. That's just me, but before we get to the receivers, let's get a word from our sponsor and make sure you download and subscribe to the Fast Draft app today using the promo code FRAMES, which will earn you a first-time deposit match of up to $50 in credits. From their Origins game, where you draft only rookies, their Flex 4 game, where you pick your favorite players for the upcoming season, and their D-Up game, which is just like Flex 4, but with IDP Fantasy Football players only. This 20-second timer, PPR formatted, 6-round best ball draft game is perfect for those on the go but itching to get their fantasy football draft fix satisfied. Again, that's promo code FRAMES, which will earn you a first-time deposit match of up to $50 in credits. The Fast Draft app. Start drafting faster.
Nice.
All right. Wide receivers. We are not talking about Malik, Brian Thomas, or Ladd because they all showed up last year. So let's start with Marvin Harrison. Jameson, where are you on Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I hope this does not come off as a hot take, but I think you can sell him still at a very nice price, and I'm just kind of out at the moment. on Marvin Harrison. I don't, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not trying to actively sell him, but I'm not buying that he can end up a top 5 receiver like we originally drafted him. Like Malik Neighbors ended up there.
Generational.
Yes. So the word that we heard, part of it is because I just think Kyler Murray sucks, and I'm frustrated with myself that I fell for it. I fell into groupthink. I've filed a police report. I'm waiting to hear back. I will not do that again. But this is year 3 of the Scott Petzing offense, especially towards the end of the year. I didn't think it was that great. Drew Petz, excuse me. I knew I screwed that up, but appreciate it. I don't like the Cardinals offense. Him and Kyler Murray had no chemistry last year. I think I have better chemistry with Marvin Harrison Jr. than Kyler did. And it seems like Marvin Harrison Jr. has put on some muscle, which means his speed that he didn't have much of last year, don't think he's going to be adding more of that to it. So I think he ends up fine, but I think some people are buying into the year 2 breakout and think that Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, he had 8 touchdowns last year and 885 yards, but it felt like you couldn't start him every week, and that's what you drafted him for. And I still think that he goes for at least a first round, possibly. I saw on the Dynasty trade database, somebody trade him for 2 first rounders. I would take 2 first rounders and ship them if I could. So I'm not trying to actively sell him, but if I think I can get a little bit of a haul and somebody who still believes in Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm willing to ship him. I'm not totally open, or I'm not open to just keeping him just because I drafted him 101 or 102 last year.
All right, Mr. Harlow.
I think this is the perfect encapsulation of what you just said, with where you land makes all the difference. He does not fit with Kyler Murray whatsoever. And I do like Drew Petzing as an offensive designer, especially a run game designer, but just sticking Marvin at the X receiver and expecting him to be a vertical route runner. He ran 15% of his routes were 9 routes, which just isn't what he does. He's over the middle, out cuts, slants, which he had 14% slants is what he ran. They gave him no easy routes. It's one thing the Giants, for all their struggles, they gave Malik Neighbors so many manufactured touches.
Yes.
You got to give, even if you think they're elite, you have to give them manufactured touches. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase get them all the time. Not because they aren't great, but get them in a rhythm, especially with a quarterback. Yeah, especially with a quarterback who I don't think Kyler sucks, but he is
not good.
Let's go with the word erratic, to be kind.
I like that. How about suck adjacent?
Suck adjacent, yes. But I think he can be really good for NFL wise, but just I don't think he's a good fit with what they want to do. If they start putting him in the slot a bunch, then I think it is wheels up. After last year, I don't really see it happening. I'll still say in, but not to the same level of in as last year.
So I'm going to throw 2 stats at you that kind of show my internal struggle with Marvin Harrison. He had 1 drop on 114 targets. That's great, right? Sure hands, doesn't drop the ball. But he also only forced 1 missed tackle.
Not great.
That's where I go with manufactured touches. If everything he's getting is a super difficult, he's running 9 routes, he's running contested catch. If you're making a contested catch, you're not going to get any yards after catch.
Exactly.
I don't think it's a strength of his game by any means. It's not, but he still had 6.5 yards after the catch at Ohio State. So I think get him some easier touches, get him 3 slants a game instead of 1, and you'll get a little more. Yeah. But it's a concern for sure.
And one last thing we didn't bring up, he's competing against a 1,000-yard basically receiver in Trey McBride, who only had 2 touchdowns last year. So
true.
That's the other portion of the program. I just especially last year.
Kyler Murray can't support 2,000-yard receivers. I mean,
if we believe it, this is a theory question. Let's say we believe in the quarterback. It's not Kyler. Do you think having that secondary target, or if Marvin's a secondary target, whatever, do you think that's good or bad for him? Again, let's just assume we believe in Kyler Murray.
I have to think having a second target to take some pressure off of you, right? To draw
one that's that level that Trey McBride is.
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase and
I tend to agree.
T. Higgins do it.
I think it's an important question.
Yeah, I just I'm not a huge fan of just what they did with him offensive wise last year, and I just don't. They didn't address anything in the draft. Still got, I believe, Greg Dortch probably end up being in the slot. They got Michael Wilson, who kind of did some nice stuff his rookie year. I thought he could have been a little more creative with him too. They want to run the ball with James Conner, and they're going to play good defense. Which they did better the second half of the year than the first. But Marvin Harrison Jr. for all the talk last year. I think a lot of people always just see second-year wide receivers and it just they're learning, everything's going to be all right. I think he'll be fine. I'm not saying he sucks by any stretch of the imagination, but compared to what we talked about, I don't think he's going to hit that ceiling.
All right,
I think he still could be a top 10 NFL wide receiver, but I don't think he has a top 10 fantasy receiver in him.
Well, tell me what you think, Joe, about Rome Odunze.
I'm all in. In. I believe in Ben Johnson a lot more than Drew Petzing and Caleb a lot more than Kyler Murray. We talked about it with Luther Burden last week. I think we talked about him or in one of the mock drafts we did. But that one of his benefits is that he might be pushing DJ Moore out, who they seem to hate for some reason. So if that's the case, I think Odunze could take over that wide receiver 1 role this year. They used him a lot in varying positions. So I think the chemistry, the friendship with Caleb, I think is a really big positive.
JMO.
I'm not all in, but I definitely see the upside, just the upgrade offense. No Keenan Allen. The DJ Moore stuff's kind of weird, but I like DJ Moore. I know he kind of took some plays off last year, but I would have too if I had Matt Eberflus my head coach. He sucks. But I'm not all in on Rome Odunze. I'd rather have Rome than Marvin Harrison. The only thing that worries me is they brought in Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. So you have two. The thing I worry about Chicago's offense is, let's say at tip top, Caleb Williams goes off, and it just ends up being somebody different every single week, and the consistency. He ends up being kind of like a Jameson Williams. As far as production each week, like there's one week he has a huge game, and then the next game it goes to somebody else. That's my worry there, but I think the upside for Odunze is much higher than Marvin Harrison right now.
Yeah, especially the situation. He was 3rd in contested catch rate. I like Odunze. Almost 100 targets last year. Sure to go up this year. I'm in.
They're going to get him more slot work, which will be good for him.
All right, let's go to Jameson. Xavier Worthy.
He's fine. Not my favorite. I know the end of the year, or not the end of the Super Bowl, he caught the big touchdown, had some production there. He had 638 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. You get Rashee Rice back. Patrick Mahomes, as far as the fantasy quarterback, is not what people think. They feel like they sleepwalk through the offense during the regular season just to get to the playoffs. And Travis Kelce, even though he kind of fell off last year, I think he'll end up getting some more touchdowns too this year. The regression there. So I think he's fine. He's not somebody I'd rather upgrade. I don't know. I don't know if people are totally buying into Xavier Worthy. I'm not. He's just a fast guy, and this is not my typical wide receiver that I like, I guess.
Joe.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. He's a gadget player.
Well, first 4 games when Rashee Rice was playing, he had 4 targets or less in every game. He only had 2 of those games going forward. So I'm nervous about when Rice gets back. Joe, what about Ricky Pearsall?
I think in. Ayuk's hurt. Juwan Jennings solid, but it's a Shanahan offense. I'll be in. Why not?
Pearsall's hurt.
Is he hurt again?
Yeah. Tweaked his hamstring.
When did that happen?
Right before we got on. So I'll still be in on him. 400 touchdowns or 400
touchdowns.
Yards.
That's a rookie record.
Excuse me, 400 yards and 3 touchdowns after being shot. Juwan Jennings had a really nice run last year. No Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk come back from ACL. I'm in on Pearsall.
I'm in. Work in progress, but he's promising. I'm a little bit nervous about the hamstring. Anytime I hear wide receiver and hamstring, I start getting nervous. Next up, is Jameson's guy, Xavier Legette. What do you think, JMO?
I'm in. 497 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. Ted McMillan coming to town, getting drafted, I think moves Xavier Legette back to his natural position, gets him out of the X spot where he's more comfortable. Last year, towards the end of the year, it fell off once he had to be in the X. So I think Carolina's offense is going to be really good, and I think Legette is a great buy right now.
All right. Joe, do you agree about Legette?
I do. My biggest concern with him as a prospect was that he'd be forced into the X role. He was in Carolina the back half of the year and was bad. And now, thank you, T-Mac. So,
yep. Get him in space.
Are you telling me that being 8th in drop percentage was because he was an X?
I think it's part of it.
Okay.
I think it's a harder position to learn. And it's something he had to learn and while also facing the NFL teams. I think it'll still be an issue, but I think you'll feel more natural, more of those short manufactured touches where it's easier to catch the ball.
All right.
And he was so great in contested catches, right? Not as great.
No, not as great as you thought.
No.
All right. Another similar guy to Legette, Keon Coleman. Joe, forced to the X.
Yeah, I don't see him being unforced to the X. Maybe they put Josh Palmer there, but that would make the most sense. But I'm going to say
don't criticize their wide receivers. That doesn't go well. Their GM will come on the pod and start yelling at people.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened. Good for Brandon Beane, honestly.
But whatever, yeah. Good for him.
Yeah, I got to say out. I think he can be a fine role player, but it's not what you're looking for where you drafted him.
JMO? Don't understand why the Bills play him at the X position. I don't think that's where he goes, but no thanks. Too many weird wide receivers. Josh Palmer, no thanks. I'm good.
7th in drop percentage. No, thank you.
I'm good.
All right, next up. Oh, dear Lord. A.D. Mitchell. JMO, from your beloved Colts.
Alec Pierce was too good last year, so he can't be there full time. You got Josh Downs, you got Michael Pittman. You probably have Danny Dimes throwing it to him. I just don't see it. Some of the metrics, I'm good. He had some terrible drops. I don't think he's going to be a full-time player. So, no thanks.
Joe, say it ain't so.
I wish I could. I'm buying him long-term, but I don't expect anything this year. There's also the quarterback situation, which is there. So,
yeah, there's no way in hell Anthony Richardson can support 2 wide receivers, much less 4 and a tight end.
Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, Lord Almighty. I mean, talk about an embarrassment of riches. The only thing that might save that team is Danny Dimes coming in. I mean, he can support 2, but
I don't know.
Come on, he could support 2. Compared to Anthony Richardson?
I'm with you. I don't think Daniel Jones is good, but I don't think he's as bad as people made him out to be just because of how bad the Giants
I think he's
were.
worse than people made him out to be, honestly.
I think we're just talking about Tyrone Tracy and Saquon Barkley and that terrible offensive line and how putrid the New York Giants are. I think anybody leaving that team is going to feel a lot better. And that Indy offense looks so much better than anything the Giants had ever put in front of him. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater, buddy, but he's got to be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's close. I don't think he's good.
That's a different topic for another day. But
all right, yeah, you're right. Thank you for keeping me on track. All right. Speaking of people who can't get on track, Jermaine Burton. Joe, where are we with Jermaine?
With the other 2 wide receivers on this team, he's the wide receiver 3 at best. It's not worth the headache.
No, I'd rather have Yoshivas.
Yeah. Joe Burrow said he matured this offseason, so if you can get anything at all for Jermaine Burton, if you can get a cracker, I would sell him. No thanks. He has matured until he ends up on the police report again or at the casino right before the biggest game of the year.
Or he doesn't get the ball thrown his way, and he like has a
He's mature.
I have no time for man babies. No time. Next up, Roman Wilson. JMO?
No thanks.
No thanks.
No quarterback. Arthur Smith. No, I'm good.
Joe?
I'm in because why the hell not? I mean, he's the number 2 receiver on the team. If they get a quarterback in 26, or if Will Howard turns into something, sure. It's not like you're paying a lot for him.
It's okay. Arthur Smith is trying to get wait, who are they trying to get again? Jonnu Smith today.
Yeah.
Come. Dear Lord.
Brutal.
I still like Roman Wilson, though. I want to see what he can do. And I'm with Joe. They have nothing else there.
I'd take him over Keon, Mitchell, Burton. Maybe not Keon, just Josh Allen, but Mitchell and Burton. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely. All right, that brings us to Troy Franklin. Sounds like a motivational speaker. I don't know. Wait, isn't there a preacher named Troy Franklin?
Probably.
Maybe. Anyway, go ahead, buddy. Joe, what do you think?
I don't care. No.
No. All right. I don't care either. JMO?
Pat Bryant coming to town. They got Devon Vele, Cortland Sutton. Just kind of hard. I'd just rather go elsewhere.
All right. That brings us to our final wide receiver, UDFA, Jalen Coker. JMO?
478 yards, 2 touchdowns. If Adam Thielen kind of falls off, I can see Jalen Coker kind of being a slot role. We'll see about Hunter Renfrow, but I could be in. I'm not excited about it. I think some people are actually excited about Jalen Coker. I think he's one of those good enough players. Probably a part they try to upgrade elsewhere down the road, but he's fine. I'll be in on him.
Okay. Joe?
I think I'm a little more optimistic, but generally same. Adam Thielen needs to go away first. Then he's the third receiver. Also, quick short out to Jordan Whittington, third receiver for the Rams now.
Jordan Whittington. Took him a lot in my FCS drafts because of his return abilities. Let's see what happens. All right, gentlemen, let's finish off with tight ends. And we are not going to talk about Brock. Supposedly, he broke out last year.
Brocked out.
Well, that's the end of the podcast. That was great. No, come back up. Oh, now everything's messed up. I have to look down to talk to you. That's okay. So, Joe, let's start with Ben Sinnott.
He's a fullback.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't play that many snaps in the backfield.
Most of it was
H-back line tight end.
Yeah, but he's best as fullback. That's what he was at K-State. That's where he's best.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got zero involvement in the passing game. I mean, yeah.
28 yards and a touchdown last year. So, no thanks.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Well, I thought his average depth of target was like 0.23, or so. It was low. Number 3.
Tutu Atwell. No, I refuse.
Oh, I'm
like
sorry, Philip V. But Joe has spoken. Let's go to our second.
It's a good point though.
Jatavion Sanders. JMO?
I'm in. Bryce Young loved targeting tight ends at Alabama before he got dropped on his head last year. Jatavion Sanders was doing okay. 342 yards and a touchdown. I'll be in. I like this Panthers offense. I think he fits really well. And I believe Tommy Tremble's hurt or had surgery. Not that it matters much, but I'll be in on Jatavion.
It does matter because they won't let Tremble go.
He's a blocking tight end. They need him, but yeah.
So what do you think about Jatavion?
I'm in on him too. The Mitchell Evans, they drafted Mitchell Evans, right? Helm went to Tennessee, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I think that's a little bit concerning, but overall Sanders is going to be the top tight end. And yeah, why not?
Roller coaster season, but I like the ups. I would definitely invest. I mean, tight end is such a fickle position. You might as well throw something at him and stick him on the end of your roster. which leaves us with our final player of the night, Mr. Penn State, jacked up tight end himself, Theo Johnson.
The real team of the pod.
Penn State.
Yeah.
That's true. Go ahead. We'll talk about him.
I'm all in as well. I think he has tight end one potential this year. It's, again, assuming the quarterbacks aren't absolute garbage. The Wan'Dale Robinson spam targets, I would hope, go to Theo, who actually has more after the catchability. He's a bigger target. I would be shocked if he's the second best receiver on the team right now. Darius Slayton may have some words there, but I really liked Theo as a prospect and thought he looked pretty good last year in his time.
J-Mo?
I'm in as well. This is a great late round flyer. It's a great late round pick if you want to throw somebody a bone to pick them up, especially like in Superflex. If you just want to try to hit on one of these random 1 year, he gets like 6 or 7 touchdowns, like one of those type of things. So I'll be in on Theo Johnson as well. I think he's a great under the radar tight end flyer here that can have some real production at a position that never has any outside the top 2 or 3 guys.
I have him as my tight end 2 on 75% of my dynasty rosters.
Looking at his PFF grades, it was nice to just see a gradual climb. Started badly, but every game he gradually got a little bit better. Well, it is time for tags, so we let everyone know where they can find us and what you have coming up. J-Mo.
On the Twitter machine, as always, at Jameson Rules. Outside of that, just here at Rod Pod every Thursday in Discord. On the Twitter machine, if anybody wants to talk any wrestling, any of that good stuff, I'm always there too. But that's about it for this week.
Joe.
You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Jolo63. My part 3 of the Breakout rookie wide receivers part. I don't remember the name of the series now. Totally blanking. But part 3 for wide receivers will be coming out as soon as I actually hit submit. And so next couple of days. That's pretty much all for me right now.
All right. I'm at JJ Wenner on the socials. Thank you to everybody who joined on the stream tonight. Thank you, Joe and Jameson, for all of your work and the whole crew at Fantasy and Frames for your support. Please join us next week at 8 p.m. when we dive into the juniors. You can also catch me on the Diehards podcast every Wednesday with Doug. Next week, we welcome Ryan McDowell onto the show to talk breakout wide receiver and tight ends. Stay tuned right after this. In about a minute and a half, we have the Fantasy and Frames draft show. Woo-hoo. And so from all of us to all of you, be safe, be well, and as always, boat drinks, my friends, boat drinks.